Welcome to the Greenway Kia North YouTube channel, guys. Listen, this is our first subject of the day. The brand new redesigned 2027 Telluride in terrain brown. Let's talk about it. All right, so this isn't just a facelift. This is a complete redesign of the Telluride. Listen, the 2025 Telluride, it was one of the safest, best-selling three-row SUVs for years. Now it just got 10 times better. So I kind of want to touch on a few points on the outside, and more so, obviously it's completely different on the outside, but on the inside, it's definitely what matters. First, let's talk about the front end, right? You still kind of follow the same design language that you had on the 25. Instead of the shorter daytime running lights, you have an extended daytime running light that kind of curves at the bottom, still dual and vertical. You have this kind of horizontal, muted, flat colored grille going right along the front. And what's really cool about this X-Line EX is that these two more sturdy bars at the front where they put the fog lights, that actually gets replaced with some real heavy duty tow hooks on the X Pros. All right, so the biggest thing is instead of using that V6 that was unique to the Telluride, we're actually using something that's pretty familiar to us. It's the 2.5 liter turbocharged motor. You see it in the K5, you see it in the Sorento. There's a reason for this, right? You actually do benefit from a little bit better gas mileage. However, it's actually a little bit more powerful, right? You're switching from kind of the more instantaneous torque from the V6 to a turbocharged motor. It's a little bit smaller. However, you actually get more torque. So getting up to speeds, merging onto the highway, it's actually gonna be easier. And you still have the same concept. All the fluids are easily accessible. Everything from the battery, you still have the fire suppressant system up here, hydro pneumatic engine mount, everything. So it's familiar, but the engine is completely different. So the biggest thing about this EXX line is that you actually get like a unique ground effects kit to it. Not just the front bumper, the whole front fascia is gonna be different from the LX, S, EX, whatever it may be. Once you get to the X lines and the X Pros, it's gonna be a completely different ground effects kit. So, all gloss black accents. Some of them are kind of like a more muted matte color. And one of the biggest thing is that on the 2025 Telluride X line, you actually used to get 20-inch all gloss black wheels. Now they're 21s. So they're a little bit bigger, right? Coming down the side, we have kind of the wrapped around LED turn signals. Boom, coming down a little bit more. We're actually taking some technology from the EV9. So these are the door handles. You walk up to it, certain trim levels, right? You'll have the smart key, pops out the door handles like the EV9 would, right? Have the raised all gloss black roof rails, unique side skirts to this trim level only. And then we're gonna come back to the rear. So another big thing is, specifically, it's something that we've used before on the previous Tellurides, but we do have self-leveling rear air suspension. No front, but rear. What that's gonna help you with is if you're towing something or you have a lot of luggage in the rear, it starts to squat the truck down a little bit. You'll actually hear the pump slightly going, and it'll raise it right back up to keep it level with the road. So your driving dynamics don't really change. It's very predictable, right? Now, two different things. You have a light bar that runs all the way across here, and you have a small one down here as well, used as your brake lights and kind of your third brake light as well. You're gonna still have all those kind of muted, matte colored badges everywhere. And for the taillights themselves, instead of the taillight kind of wrapping around, almost heading towards the Kia sign, they kind of split it off and stop it right until it gets to the tailgate. Gives it a more sleek look. I actually quite like it a lot. A familiar sight back here in the Telluride. Same concept with the third row. You pull these straps, push the seat forward, drops right down. Now, I'd like to point out the wheelbase on this 2027 Telluride, it's about 2.7 inches longer, right? You actually get a little bit more legroom in the second and the third row. That's big, right? You get a little bit more cargo space as well. And there used to be a cubby space in this 2025 Telluride. In the 27, you actually have a little flip-up part right here, has a tape measure right here. You're in Colorado with the boys down at the lake. You catch a fish, put it right here, measure it. You got cup holders on either side. It's pretty cool. And if you knock it up one more time, you have little dividers that you can grab, and you can move these anywhere you want to kind of space certain things off. And something that we actually added to the 2027 Telluride is there's actually a separate light back here that you can control. You can control the brightness of it, and you can control the color. So white, a little bit darker of a white, almost bluish, and then an amber color. And you can still change the light of that as well. So if you're working on something at night and you need an extra little bit of light, maybe you're at the airport for whatever reason, right? You're picking up some people from the airport, they need a little bit of extra light to put their cargo in, something like that. You get actually an external light, which is quite nice. Another familiar face, we have the second row climate control up here. Same old buttons, actually a little bit nicer of a screen. Something completely different though, right? For the 2025 Tellurides, you had passenger talk on some trim levels, right? But the speakers were only in the third row. Now you actually have second row passenger talk speakers here as well. So it transmits from the microphone in the front to the second and now the third row, or now the second row over the third row as well. So that's really, really cool. Same concept, you're gonna have your cup holders up here, your USB-C ports on either side. We're taking another page out of the EV9's book. We actually have a little storage bin here now. That actually is pretty deep. On different trim levels, some of the higher trim levels, you'll actually have a pull-out just like the EV9. It's gonna be dampened. You can push the top of it open, and it's gonna be a huge storage space in there for books, iPad, yeah, iPad kids, you know, and then whatever you wanna fit in there, right? So another big thing, seats, absolutely beautiful, especially for the X-Lines and X-Pros. You're gonna have that unique stitching, the unique pattern in the Syntex leather. You still have your armrests, and on the EX specifically, of course, you do have the rear sunshades. It's a beautiful spot to be. I mean, as in the previous years, very, very comfortable spot to sit. It's even better now in the 2027. The best seat in the house, the front seats, honestly the second row seats, but the front seats are even cooler, right? So a few huge things for the Telluride, right? Previous years, we did not have wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Boom, there we go. Sold, easy, right? Love it, needed it. It's actually the same screen that you'll find in some of our newer K4s, dual 12.3-inch screens, but that middle 4.2-inch display for some of your climate controls. Still have your physical buttons down here. Taking another page out of the EV9. We just love the EV9 over here. You actually have touch sensitive buttons right here on the dash, and the headrests are actually very similar to what we have in the EV9s and a couple of the other vehicles now. Another huge thing, right? Still have two USB-Cs up here, and you have one USB-C for just tethering in if you want somebody else to display their Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, whatever it may be. And now, not just one, but we have two wireless chargers. That is incredible to have. They both work flawlessly. I have a very thick case on my phone, still goes right through it, charges up pretty quickly. We love that. These seats right here, I'm telling you right now, comfortable as all can be. It was wonderful in the 25 Telluride. Everything's just better. Like the 25 Telluride was literally one of the best selling 3-row SUVs. It gets literally so much better in the 27. I didn't even know we could improve, but we improved, right? So EX, gonna have your heated and cooled seats. You used to have it down here. You kind of had these holds right here for your hands, right? But you used to have them push forward a little bit more. You'd have the levers to go to heated and cooled seats. Now you actually have it on your door panels right here. Same thing, actually to open the door is quite a bit different as well. I actually like this concept of using the kind of the pull back instead of the handle up on the upper door handle as well. And what's actually really cool is if you scan this QR code right here, you'll actually be sent a link from Kia that brings you to a different landing page that shows you some of the different materials that we're using in this Telluride for more sustainable materials, right? So we're trying to move away from leather. We're trying to find different materials that will be longer lasting, and I think they hit the head on it. They hit the nail on the head. It's really, really nice. A couple other big things up front as well. Storage, we have much more of that, right? So you have your cup holders down here, and then you have a separate storage right here alongside. You can fit as many phones as you want to right there. You actually have a huge cubby down here as well with a 12-volt down there. And for the center armrest, I feel it's a little bit wider. You're not gonna be fighting over whose elbow goes where, and it's split down the middle. Push that button at the front, and it has a huge, deep tub right here. You can fit quite literally anything you could think imaginable. So this is extremely cool. This is a great spot to sit in the Telluride. There's so many new features in this 2027 Telluride that makes it tremendously better. This is, especially the wireless Apple CarPlay Android Auto, that is huge, right? It was like, there's just like 1 or 2 models left, and then boom, we got it, right? So this is, yeah, this is the new move. Like, forget Range Rover, forget Mercedes, Audi, BMW, new Telluride, killer. The best seat in the house, being the driver of the 2027 Telluride, right? Couple of changes up here as well. I hate to keep bringing it up, but another page out of the EV9, we actually have the stock here, the engine start stop down here, and to switch gears, you have it right there on the very end. I actually like that design because it moves the gear selector from the middle down here up to the stock. It kind of moves it out of the way, so then we could give you that second wireless phone charger and a little bit of extra storage up here in the front seats, right? Something big. We have paddle shifters now. We have paddle shifters on the Telluride, and they actually work very, very well. They feel great. They look great. Completely redesigned steering wheel, like I said. Boom, we have heated and ventilated seats right here. And whether it's an X-Line, it's an X Pro, or even if it's not an X-Line or an X Pro, as long as it's an all-wheel drive Telluride, it will always come with heated steering wheel. We live in Florida, we don't really have to worry about that, but up north, I'm sure they do. But who cares about those guys, right? So, but no, we keep you in mind. So we kind of base certain features and functions, like certain options that you can get on these vehicles. It makes much more sense to have heated steering wheel on an all-wheel drive vehicle. If you live up north, you're probably gonna have some snow, right? So it makes sense. Dude, this dash laid out beautifully. Some manufacturers, they just tack on a huge big screen in the middle right here. It looks a little awkward, but our dash, our dual 12.3-inch screens are just implemented into the dash perfectly and very seamless. So this is definitely by far the best seat in the house. I'd also like to touch on a couple of other features and some of our different trim levels for the Telluride, but we'll get to that pretty soon. But for now, this is what we have for the EXX line. Listen.